is under differential calculus. So the question is question C. Consider the function f defined by f of x is equal to x to the power 3 plus 2x squared minus 2. The first part is find the interval where f is increasing and where it is decreasing. But 2 is saying find the relative maxima, minima, and the inflection point for f. But 3 is saying sketch the graph of f. So let's start step by step. Whenever you are trying to determine or to find the interval where the function is increasing or decreasing, what you have to do is the first point or the first step, you have to get the function which you have been given, differentiate that function. Once you differentiate it, equate it equal to 0, solve for x. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say f prime, I need to differentiate this function which I've been given. Differentiating this function is going to be 3x squared plus this is going to be 4x. I've differentiated this function. Anyone having problems on how to differentiate a function? Let's do fast. We don't have time. I've differentiated this function. Now, after differentiating this function, equate it equal to 0. So you get this the way it is, equate it equal to 0. Solve for x. So in this case, I can clearly see that since I've got 0 here, I can just factor out x. I have x in common. I'll say x, open brackets, I'll remain with 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. I'm trying to find the value of x, guys. At this point, I can clearly see that x will be equal to 0, and what is inside the brackets will be equal to 0. So I'm going to have x is equal to 0, comma, 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. Let's solve for x here. So I'm going to say 3x is equal to, I'll shift 4 to the other side, negative 4. I'll divide it by 3. By 3, these two will cancel, x will be equal to negative 4 over 3. The way we have found these values of x, anyone having problems? You are going to find this. Just ask. The first point is get the function, differentiate that function, equate it equal to 0. Okay? After equating the function equal to 0, solve for x. This is what I've done here. Now, after solving for the value of x, how can we know that this function is increasing at a certain point? I need to come up with a number line. I'll say, here is my number line. Okay? How many points do we have? We have our 0 here. X is equal to 0. I'll put it there. We also have, but I can put it this side. X is equal to 0. I also have another point which is x is equal to, I'm just putting the values which I've just found. X is equal to negative 4 over 3. Okay? After doing this, I need to get a number greater than 0. I'm going to put it here, 1. A number which is in between negative 4 over 3 and the 0. I can choose any number, but in this case, I'll choose negative 1. A number here, I'll choose negative 2. Is that okay? After doing, sorry? I'm saying that after finding the values of x, these are the values of x. X is equal to 0 and x is equal to negative 4 over 3. After finding the value of x, you come up with a number line. Okay? After coming up with a number line, you put your numbers. We have the critical points. We have got x is equal to 0, which is this guy here. I have x is equal to 0, which is here. Again, x is equal to negative 4 over 3 is what I have there. Now, I need to get a number which is greater than 0, which I have to put it there. I've put 1 there. A number which is in between negative, this number and this number, I've chosen negative 1. I've put in between. A number which is less than this guy, I've chosen negative 2. But if you want, you can choose negative 3. That is just okay. Is that okay? After choosing the numbers, after putting the numbers on the number line, this is what you're going to do. You can start with this one. You put 1 in this function, the one which you have just differentiated. Are we going to get a negative or positive? So if I put 1 in this function, so I'm going to have, if I put 1 here, it's going to be a positive, not so? Are we going to get a number which is the answer which is going to be negative or positive if I put 1 where there's x? It's a positive, not so? I'm going to get a positive. So now, since I'm going to get a positive, I'm going to put just a positive here, and then I put them in brackets. Okay? Now let's go to -1. What if I put -1? Am I going to get a negative or positive? Let's see. If I put -1 here, it's going to be -3. It's going to be 3, -1 squared plus 4, then -1. We're expecting to have, this is going to be just 3, then this is going to be -4. I'm going to get -1, which is negative. I'll put negative here. Okay? Now, I'm done with that one. I need to go to what? I need to go to the other one. Which other one are we talking about? We're talking about 2. If I get -2 here, I put in this function where there's x. Are we going to get a negative or positive? Let's see. 3, -2 squared plus 4, -2. Here I'm going to get 4 times 12, or 4 times 3 is going to give me a 12. This is going to be -4. I'll be able to get a 4. This is positive, meaning this is positive. What does it mean? Where it is giving us positive, it is increasing at that point. Where it is giving us negative, it is decreasing. Meaning, it is increasing from 0, not included, all the way to positive infinity. Again from -4/3 all the way to negative infinity. It is decreasing at this point. Now, how do you write the answer? This is what we're going to do. I'll write increasing here. Increasing, then I'll say it is increasing from negative infinity all the way to -4/3. Union from 0 not included all the way to positive infinity. At that point, this function is going to be increasing. Where is it decreasing? I'll write again decreasing, decreasing. Then I'm going to say it is decreasing from -4/3, 0. For part 1, I'm done. Guys, you have to know this. You really have to know this. Is it okay? Please ask.
Can you just repeat on it's increasing and it's decreasing, how to choose the point there, number line?
You have just joined now?
No, I'm just behind on the increasing part.
Okay, so I'm saying that for you to know that it is increasing, but you are okay on how to get these numbers, -1, -2, and 1. Okay, now you get the function which you have just differentiated. In this case, this is our differentiated one, the one I'm highlighting in blue. After getting that one, now you start now plugging in the values. You put 1. I'm going to put 1. If I put 1 where there is x, are we going to get the answer which is going to be positive or negative? After plugging in the values, we found that it was positive. That is the positive we have here. Then we got a negative what? We got a negative -1, which is here. Plug in there. Is it going to give us negative or positive? It gave us negative. That is the negative which is here. Okay? After getting -2, which is here, putting in where there is x, it has given us +4. So that is the positive which we have there. Is that okay? Now, the part where it's giving us positive, that is the point where it is increasing. So it is increasing from the point where it is starting from all the way to negative infinity. Again, from this point all the way to positive infinity. It is decreasing at the point where it is negative. So in this case, it is negative from this point all the way to that point. That's why the interval here I've put to say it is increasing from negative infinity all the way to -4/3, union from 0 all the way to positive infinity. Then it is decreasing at the point from this point all the way to there, which is negative 4 over 3 comma 0. As simple as that. It's making sense, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any question?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Wanna, I think you have just joined now, not so?
My network is no, I joined a long time. My network is skipping, so I'm unable to get you. Like, why is
So
coming?
if you are unable to get us, meaning even if I
It's the
explain,
same.
even if I explain again, you are not going to get me because you are unable to get us. So the good part is I'm recording this class. I'm recording this class. After this, after I think by 20 hours, I'll be able to upload this recorded class. I think you'll be able to follow step by step. You get my point, one?
Okay.
Yes. Now, after identifying, after knowing where it is increasing and decreasing, what does it mean? It means that even if you have not sketched this, at that point it will be increasing like that, then it will be decreasing, again it will be increasing like that. But anyway, I'm going to teach you that. Don't worry. Now, the second question is find the relative maxima, minima, and inflection point for the f of x. Allow me to get rid of this. I don't know if there are some people who are still writing. I want to get rid of this. Okay? We are now on part 2. To find, listen and listen very carefully. To find the relative maxima, minima, and the point of inflection, this is what you have to do. You have to differentiate. Okay? You need to find the second derivative. What do I mean by finding the second derivative? You have to find the second derivative. The first derivative which we had was after differentiating this guy, we found that our f of prime was 3x squared plus 4x. Okay? Now I'm telling you to say we need to find the second derivative. What would be our second derivative here? Anyone who can help us?
Sir, it will be 3x plus 4.
It would be 3. It would be what? Yes.
6x will be 6x plus 4.
6x plus 4.
Yes.
Are you sure?
So what's the question again?
The question is what would be the second derivative of what we have here?
Negative 2 over 6.
Guys, where is negative 2 coming from?
It is 6x plus 4.
It is 6x plus 4. Okay, let's do this. Just a minute. Um, let's start with this now. Before we find the second derivative, to find the relative maxima, minima, and the point of inflection, what we have to do now, guys, is the values which we have. We need first to find what we call the critical points. I'll start with the critical point, but I'm going to reach at a point where I'm going to tell you to say you can start with any. Okay, but at this point I'm going to start with the critical point. How do we find the critical point? We find the critical point by plugging in the values of x in the original or in the differentiated, okay, in the original function, not differentiated one. This is my original function, remember? So now what I have to do is I'm going to plug in the values. In short, I'm trying to find the value of y. It's like I have y is equal to x to a power 3 plus 2x squared minus 2. Now the values which I found after differentiating is 0 and negative 4 over 3. I'll start by plugging in 0. So y will be equal to 0 to the power 3 plus 2, 0 squared minus 2. My y value is what? Negative 2. What does it mean? When x is 0, the value of y is negative 2. Is that okay? Before we go anywhere, ask Charimo. What I've done here is, let me just repeat. What I've done here is, I'm trying to find the critical point. How do we find the critical point? We found the values of x after differentiating. The values of x was x is equal to 0 and x is equal to negative 4 over 3. Next, the original function which I have, I need to find the value of y. How do we find the value of y? Just plug in the values of x. The first value of x is 0. I just plug in the value of x is 0 where there is x. Again, 2 times 0 squared minus 2. I found that is negative 2. What does it mean? It means that when x is 0, y is negative 2. Next, we have to plug in this guy. We see another critical point. I'll come here and say y will be equal to negative 4 over 3 to the power 3 plus 2. Then here I have got negative 4 over 3 raised to the power 2 minus 2. Let's find the value of y. Negative 4 to the power 3 is negative what? 4 times 4, 16 times 4, 64. So it will be negative 64. Negative 64 divided by 3 times 3, 9 times 3, 27. Then this is going to be plus because this is squared. So I'll have 2 open brackets. This is going to be 16 divided by 3 minus 2. Y will be equal to negative 64 divided by 27 plus. This is going to give us 32 over 3 minus 2. Yes, please. Oh, sorry. So yes, we are supposed to square the 3. Thank you very much. The 3 has to be squared, so it's going to be 9, not so? It's 9. Thank you. Minus 2. Are we okay now? At this point, guys, I can find the common denominator. The common denominator, I think, is 27. Okay. 27 into 27 is 1. 1 times what? 1 times negative 64 is negative 64. Here I have plus 9 into 27. I'll have 3. 3 times 32. Is it 3 times 32? Is 3 times 32, right? What is 3 times 32?
96.
96. Minus here I have 1. 1 into 27, 27. 27 times 2. What is 27 times 32? 1454. What will be our answer there? What will be our answer? So we have negative 64 plus 96, then minus 54. I'm getting negative 22. So my y is equal to negative 22 over 27. What does it mean? It means that when x is equal to negative 4 over 3, the y value is that guy. Now, allow me to get rid of this. Can I lab this part? I can lab that point. I want to get rid of this. I can? Okay. So now we have what we call the critical point. We have two critical points. When x is 0, the y is negative 2. I'll put it there. And another one, I can even put and. Another one is when x is negative 4 over 3, the y value is negative 22 over 27. Those are my critical point. Those are the ones which are going to help me now. Can we go to the next step? We are still on part 2. Can we go to the next step? Yes, exactly. So now we are going there on how to find the minima and the maximum. Is that okay? Yes, please, just ask. You can ask. The what? The turning point? No, the turning point, in short, where the graph is going to turn. If this is your graph and the graph is like starting like maybe let's say here, is turning there, then it's going like that. That is your local maxima, that is your local minima. So the turning point is the same. They are going to be the same. Is that okay? Sure. Now, after finding the critical point, this is what you have to do, guys. Let me now show you. So you say if the second derivative is less than, let me start with the greater than 0, then you have got minima. That's the point there. It is opposite. Then if you differentiate the second derivative of this guy, you plug in the answer, you find that the answer is less than 0, then you have got maxima. What if the second derivative is equal to 0? You plug in the values, you find equal to 0, that you have got the point of inflection. Unless you have questions, these are the points. You need to know this. You need to know this. This is very, very important. Okay? Is that okay?
So I don't know which one is the answer here.
We are not done. We're not done. Yes. Now, after finding the critical point, these are the principles I'm giving you now. The condition. If you differentiate the second derivative of this, I'm talking about this now, the second derivative of this guy, if we differentiate that one, then we are going to be plugging in the values of x and these two values. If you find that the answer of the second derivative after plugging in the values, the answer is greater than 0, meaning at that point we have got minima. If the answer is less than 0, at that point we have got what? Maxima. If the answer is equal to 0, we have got the point of inflection. Now, if you don't understand here, let's go ahead and solve this. I think you'll be able to know what I'm trying to say. Is that okay? Let's do this. I want us to find now the second derivative. The first derivative we found was f of prime of x. What was our first derivative? I've even forgotten. It was 3x squared plus 4x, right? Now let's find the second derivative. We are differentiating this one. Differentiating this one, what are we going to have? We're going to have 6x plus 4. Okay. So we have our 6f. Just a minute here. So we have, that was 4x. Okay, perfect. So yes, we have 6x plus 4. After differentiating now, you need just to put in the values which you have. We have got two values only. I'll say if f of prime is 0, if where there's x I put 0, what will be my answer? If I put 0, I'll have this plus 4. What will be our answer? Our answer will be what? 4. Is this answer positive or negative? Positive. What will be the conclusion? When x is equal to 0, we have got what? Is it a local minima or local maxima? Local minima. Because it is greater, this answer is greater from the conditions here. It is greater than 0, we have got a local minima. Meaning that at this point here, this is our minima. Okay? Next, I need to plug in negative 4 over 3. I'll go here and plug in the values. We said our f prime of x was equal to 6x plus 4. If I plug in negative 4 over 3, it's going to be 6 negative 4 over 3 plus 4. What are we going to have? These two will cancel. I'll have 2 here. 2 times 8, I'll get negative 8 plus 4. The answer is negative 8 or negative 4, sorry. At that point, we have what? When x is equal to negative, yes, when x is equal to negative 4 over 3, we have got maxima, meaning this point is our maxima. Since we can clearly see that when we plug in the values, we are not finding the point of, yes, please. Yes, please ask. Ask. Please ask, guys. Hello. Hello. Do you have questions? Okay, cool. Okay, thank you. Now, how do we find the point of inflation? We say that this has to be equal to 0. You can see, but sometimes when you plug in the values direct and then you get your answer to be equal to 0, that is definitely your point of inflation. But at this point now, to determine the point of inflation, what we're going to do is the second derivative which we have just gotten here, equate it equal to 0 for solve for x. Is that okay? Our second derivative, let me just get rid of this. Okay. Our second derivative is 6x plus 4. Equate it equal to 0. So for x, shift this guy to the other side. We can clearly see that we are going to have 6x is equal to negative 4. Divide both sides by 6, both sides by 6. X will be equal to negative 2 over 3. Do you have questions there? Do you have questions? So my point of inflation is at x is equal to negative 2 over 3. Then I'm done for question 2. I can now go for sketching. Yes, please. Exactly. Exactly. You have to know how to find the interval where it is increasing, decreasing. You have to know how to find the relative maximum, relative minimum, and point of inflation, and sketching. This question, it just come like that. it will come just like that. Sometimes they are going sometimes they are going to ask you to find the they will even tell you to say find the local maximum and local minimum, which is just the same thing. Okay, now how do we sketch? Can we go for sketching now? Okay,
I have a question.
yes please.
How to get rid of find the point
That is another that is no, 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 that is another point now. Those are other things. Yes, but for now let's just focus on this. We sketch, we sketch.
yes, sir.
Okay, allow me to get rid of this, then allow me to push this on top, then let me also push this on top. What else should I push? The point of inflation, we have said that it is at x. I can now get rid of this. The point of inflation is at x is equal to negative 2 comma 3. Then I can get rid of this. Sketching, that is the simplest thing. You just have to have this. So you have your point. You need to know this, guys. We have already said that we have got a local minima. You know, when we say minima, what does it mean when we say minima? Minima meaning is like this. Maxima is like that. This is maxima. Not so. This is minima. So your graph will not even you not even have challenges. You just have the coordinate negative 2, negative 2 comma 0. Where is negative 2 comma 0? Where can we find negative 2 comma 0? So I can find it here. Let's just assume that this is negative 2. I'll find it there. Where can we find negative 4 over 3 comma this? Negative 4, I'll put it here over 3. Another point for negative 22, I think that is approximate negative 0 point something, which I can just put it here. Negative 22 over 27. Meaning this point here, I can put it here. What else? We have got a point of inflation. A point of inflation, it is at negative 2 over 3. Where can we find negative 2 over 3? Negative 2 over 3, we can find it somewhere here when x is equal to negative 2 over 3. I think it is here. Somewhere here. Okay? So it is um it is at this point. But anyway, it's okay. Let me just show you on how we are going to do this. Now, the way it's going to be, this is our local maximum. What does it mean? At that point, the graph has to go what? Come on. How is our graph going to be like? Do you remember? What if I do this? The time we are saying when a is equal to is less than 0, the graph will be like what? Come on, guys. Come on, come on, come on. It will be facing down. Are you sure?
to be up.
It will be up. When a is greater than 0, it will be facing down. So this graph will come like this. Because this is minimum, it is less than 0. It has to be like that. This is local maximum, it is less than 0. It has to, or it's greater than 0, it has to curve like that. So it will come from there at this point, going there, going there. That is your graph of f of x is equal to x to the power 3 plus 2x squared minus 2. Then you are done. Now the point of inflation, you can show it to say the point of inflation is where the graph is resting. Like here we are just saying it is curving, but initially it's supposed to be like this. The nice graph will be like that. So the point of inflation will be at that point where x is equal to negative 2 over 3. Justina, kindly mute your mic. Are we okay now? Are we okay now?
Can you please explain for me? I didn't get it. My mic was on.
Where should I explain for you?
When graphing the one on X, the point.
The point of inflation. Okay. Let me just do this. What I'm trying to explain here, guys, is this. Let me shift this one just to be on top. Then let me shift this one to be also on top. Initially, this graph has to be like this. Starting from this point, then it comes there and going like that. You even show the arrows where it's going. But now the point of inflation, it is just at x is equal to negative 2 over 3. Where is negative 2 over 3? It is here. Just show it there. So you say at this point, just point there. You say, aha, now you do this. You say at this point, you even point. At that point, we have got what? Local minima, not so. Then at this point, we have what? Local maxima. Local, you just say maxima, that's all. From your graph, this point here, you say it is the point of inflation. Done. Most of the time, this question carries how many marks? Let me check. Where is it? 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 Okay, most of the time, this question carries 8 marks. Okay? It carries 8 marks.